Welcome to my second video, which is entitled Computer Science LCD Experiment, and this time it's number 2. If you haven't watched my previous video, it's on my channel. It's LCD 1. Basically, it's on the line of what do computer science teachers do on snow days. Well, this next one, we're going to look at Tinkercad, which is a way that I can design things for the Uno here, away from the actual device itself. So it's always good practice to design things before you go and blow anything up. I've had a couple of disasters with equipment by not experimenting beforehand. Now, what I'm eventually going to build, as I alluded to in the first video, is I'm going to create an actual box which components will go in. So I'm just going to grab the box to show you now. So basically, this is the box, and it's got, if I open it up, inside, I've got a bag of components and switches that I'm going to use. There's the front of the box there, and I'm going to rig it up with toggle switches, LCD display, and basically going to wire it in so that I can send binary instructions to the LCD screens to teach people how to use binary. So what we're going to do is we're going to mock up what's going to go in the binary box, and all I'm going to use the Arduino board here. I'm going to use the Arduino board on the screen. If you look at the cursor here, is for a power source, nothing else. It's not going to use any of the processing power or control chip on this. This is going to be purely done by toggle switches. So what I'm going to do is drop some dip switches on here, because it unfortunately doesn't have toggle switches on here I could use. So I'm going to drop the actual toggle switches on here, which I'm going to use to send binary commands. So I've used 2 breadboards for this one because it's slightly easier. So I'm just going to position that one here. And because we want, it's going to be an 8-bit system, I'm going to drop another one there. They only come in basically 6 1s and 4s in a pair. Right, so another thing that I want is a potentiometer, which is going to basically dim and brighten the characters and background on the actual LCD display. So I'm going to take that across here and just drop it there for the time being. I'm just going to position things on the board, and that's going to, this is my LCD screen here, it's going to lighten it and sort of darken it as I need so I can read the letters. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a couple of switches. One of them is this one here, and this one is going to be used to switch between write an instruction and write data to the actual LCD screen. So it's a little switch that toggles that's on and off basically. And also I'm going to have a push button switch. I'm just going to drag this one on here, and the push button switch I'm going to position about there. And this one, I'm going to straddle that over this here. I'm just going to move that across to the side. And that is going to be, when I press that, it's going to send an instruction to the screen. So basically what I've got to do is wire everything up and make sure that it's got the right sort of power settings so I don't blow anything up. So I'm going to be using resistors also to lower the circuit, and something to actually draw the circuit, draw the power out in some instances, so that we don't get what is called bounce. So if I click on this and it sends an instruction, it might, and I want to send a letter H to this, it might send several because it works a lot faster than me pressing that button. All these components you can get. I bought a load of better quality components for my actual box that I'll do, and I'll be showing that build in maybe the 3rd or maybe the 4th video. The 3rd one is I'll show you how this is actually going to work on this simulation Tinkercad. So the next thing I'm going to do is start to wire things up. So I'm going to put the power leads on first, and you can see that the Arduino board's got it's got a 5-volt lead going there. That's the power. And we've got a ground. Okay, that's there. That one goes into that bank there, and all these are powered. You can see the line of green there. The power goes all the way down there. Power goes all the way down there. On these ones here, you can see the green. The power goes down, so they don't go across on these ones. They go down. So what I'm going to do first of all is you've got a number of pins on the bottom. There's 16 connections on the LCD display. I'm going to go from left to right. The first one is ground, okay? So we can attach that one to the ground connection here, basically. So I'm just going to move that across there. Oops, just put that in place. So that's ground. I'm just going to move this to the side so it looks a bit neater. The next thing, I'm going to make that black so you can see it's actually ground. It just colours the lead, that's all, so you can see it's ground. The next one I'm going to put in is this one here, which is the power line, and that one powers the LCD screen. And you can see it's getting the power directly from the Arduino board, and it's taking that line and dropping it down into there. Okay, so that's the 2 power leads. The third one along, actually, we'll deal with in a minute, because of the fact that we need to, this is used to actually dim, let's use this device here. In order to do that, I'm going to have to move this out of the way. I'm going to have to put 2 lines in here to bring the power in to those, to this switch. So first of all, we need a positive 5 volts to there. That's the bottom line. Just put that in there. Oops. Let's get that there. I think we've got a bit too many there, so I'll take it off and neaten it up. I'm going to put that down in there and click it. Okay, so that's power one. I'm going to turn that to red so we can see that it's a power line. And we're going to put another one in here, which is just leaving a pin, because there's 3 pins on this. That's going to be the positive, that's going to be the ground, and that one in the middle is going to send the signal to the LCD, or the power to the LCD's display when we want it. So this one goes down here. This one, again, we're going to put it to black. So we put it in the wrong place. I'm just going to move that up a bit. There, so we've got now a ground and that for this. So we can position this into the pins on the board here. Just drop it down here. There you go. So you can see the 2 lines behind it. And now we can go and directly connect here to the actual voltage for the dimmer there. Okay, we're going to leave that green to distinguish between the 2. Okay, so that's all we need to do with the actual potentiometer. The next thing we're going to do is going to wire up the switch here. Now this one's got a bit of a problem because the switch doesn't take as much voltage. We can't have the full voltage to it. So, and also we want to stop it from sending multiple key presses. So we're going to put in here a little resistor. I'm going to put it to the positive, line it up with one of these terminals there. So that comes, you remember this goes into a line down in green. So that goes from the 5 volt down to this pin here. Now in the next pin, we're going to take a power line from here. Okay, and we're going to drop it down to the enable one. It's one marked with E, which is there. So that's about that's a 6-1 along. So basically it's marked with a little E on the LCD. So it's got RS here. So read select, and we've got RW here, which is read or write to the board. Now, because we only want to write to the board, we're just going to ground that one. So basically, we're going to put it to 0. So I'm just going to take the one up there, put it into a slot that's free, it's out the way up here. Okay, and that's straight to ground. Okay, with that one, we're going to make it black. Okay, so you can see that it's just rounding that there, so you don't get them all mixed up. Okay, the next one then is basically we need to wire this switch up here. Now this one's slightly simpler. We just bring in here, we're going to put that to there, and this time it's going to be the ground one to give the state of off. So that needs to be black. And then we need one over this side, which, oops, I've just put it in the wrong one there. So I'm just going to drop that down to there a minute and grab that one from the top and put it into the right hole there. So now we're going to change that to red, which is the power coming in to that switch. So basically it's on, off, that's on and off, right? Read. So that basically, this one sends data. If it's on and if it's off, it sends instructions. That's all it will do. So that one wants to go into the actual RS here, which is the select there, register select there, click that in there. And now we have, should have all the switches sort of wired up there. Now, these two on the end are also to do with the power of the LCD. So that's got to be powered to the screen, not just the actual backlit part. So what we need to do is we need to put in another resistor there, because we don't, I got an error message on this one before and it would have blown the screen if I hadn't have put in a resistor here. And this one goes to there. Okay, so that one is basically the power. And here, I'm just going to drop that down there, put it into there. Just going to move it over there a little bit, so it's a bit neater. Okay, so I'm going to put a black line on that one so you can see that that's black, and this one's red. So remember, red 5 volts. Okay, so that's it powered. Now all we've got left is data line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now they're going to be attached to these dip switches so that we can actually send data to the actual LCD screen. Now before we do that, we've got to wire this into the board. So I've got to pick one of these pins here, drag it down, and then drop it there. Same with this one. One there, drag it down, drop it there. There you go. And this one here, drag it down, drop it there, and so on. This is a bit laborious. You're just going to have to watch me do this. Okay, and down. Now, hopefully, when I get all this in a box, I'll be able to control this using the control chip on the actual LCD without any other control chips from the Uno board over there. That I'll just plug in a power source, which I've purchased, and I'll place it inside the box. And then I can attach something like a phone plug that you get for the charger, and then just plug it straight in, USB lead to a little round socket, basically. So that should be, that's wired into the board now. And now what we need to do is we need to attach it to the power source, but also I've got to put in a set of resistors down the bottom to actually stop the bounce effect as well, basically, and also to draw down the power. So I'm going to put a set of these in that correspond to the lines, make sure that they're positioned. There you go. You can get different ratings for these, you can see, and the color coordination. You know, I'll put details and instructions onto some of the information that I attach to these videos at some later date, so that you can see how they work. So I'm dropping these on here, down there, and down there. Now, actually, you've noticed that I haven't got any power to this board at the moment, but I'm going to wire it up first, and then I'm going to put the power lines in. So I haven't gone mad or anything. So basically what I'm going to do is now put some wires into here. And these are going to be for the positive voltage. So I'm going to put them as red. Again, I'm going to put them, down there. And again, we go to red. I'm just going to continue doing that until I've done all 4 lines. Oop, got a double one there. Got to be careful of that because it may not distribute the power properly in the simulation if you actually end up having a double cable or wire. So this is the power coming into each separate dip switch so that I can switch it on or off, and it will register as either a 1 or a 0 as a binary instruction, basically. Red again, and the last one here. And we'll make that one red again. So just to double check that they're all lined up. Yeah, they are. So now I need to bring some power across from here to here and make that red. Now on this occasion, what I want to do is, because we've the actual dip switches straddle the board, we need the power to the lower quadrant here. We actually need the ground on this one. So I'm going to take a line from the ground here and place it. In fact, what we'll do is, for neatness, I'll put it there. Bring this one over there. Change that one to black. And then I can just place that across to there. I could have gone straight across, but you know, looks a bit neater. Right, so that should supply power to the other board. So now all we have to do is connect all the data lines. Now, unfortunately, if you know your binary, you need to work, this is the most significant bit over here and this least significant bit. Now ignore these numbers at the bottom, because if we're using binary numbers, this is going to be a 1, this one's going to be 2, this one's going to be 4, this one's going to be 8, this one's going to be 16, this one's going to be 32, 64, and 128. Now, correspondingly, this pin here is the least significant bit, which matches up with this one here. So we've got to take this across here and attach it to the down line here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color code them differently for the different bytes so you can see them. So I'm going to make this set of bytes orange to show you that it's this side. I'm going to grab the second one Oops, just moved the board a bit. I'm going to have to, this is a bit tricky. Right, so I'm just going to move that up slightly again. Line it up. Right, so start again. So I click on that, make sure it turns red. There you go. Yeah, that's better. And we take it over to here. Now this is a bit fiddly because of the fact that they're very close together. As soon as you get that black square there, I can drop it, hopefully. Oh, it's not done it. That's better. I'm going to have to move the LCD screen because it's going to be absolutely impossible to do this. Just going to get rid of that one again a minute and do it again where I can actually do it properly. There you go. Get one of these lines wrong and it causes all sorts of problems. I'm going to put them all down there before changing the colour. There you go, and this one here. So I'm just going to change them all to a different colour, orange, orange, and these are going to be the instructions and so the data bus basically, where all the data is going to go down. It's a bit fiddly. I have to grab this green line here and change it to orange. Okay, as you can see, they're very compact there. So if I move this slightly across, I'm just going to make sure that that one's not really done properly. So I'm going to delete that one, hopefully. Delete that one and reattach it. Oops. It really is quite fiddly. There you go. And then make that orange. Okay. So then we have those data lines attached there, and then we need to attach the rest of them. I'm just going to move this across so that we can actually attach the other data lines. I'll move it back again in a minute to make it look neater. So we've got, now we're on to this one here, which is the next data line, and that attaches to there. This one to there. This one to there. And this one to there. Okay, I'm just going to change the colour of those. I'm going to change them all to orange to show that they're data lines. And this one here. Finally, this one here. Now, hopefully, they're all lined up in the right place. So just a recap before we do anything else. Oops, I've dragged the whole screen across there. Just bring it back into the center. Right, I'm just going to move these across to here. So they're out of the way. So that big bundle of data lines there is basically where the data is going to flow down into the LCD screen. So just a quick recap about what's actually going on here. Move that up slightly. Okay, just a slight recap then. So basically we've got the power coming here from the Uno board there. We've got that dropping down into the LCD screen, both ground and positive. We've also got the backlit part powered here. We've got a potentiometer here which is going to control the display's brightness. We've got a switch here, which is going to send the instruction to the data to the LCD screen. We've got the selection switch here, which is instruction when it's switched to the left, and when it's switched to the right, it's data. And then we've got our switches here, dip switches, which are going to be the binary numbers. Down's going to be 0, up's going to be 1. So that should be it. This should actually work. Now, in this video, I'm not going to actually show you how it's actually going to be used, but what I'll do is I'll show you, hopefully, if it's all wired up properly, how it actually works. So I'm going to run the simulation, and you can see that it just changed color slightly there. And what I'm going to do is I've got to set 3 instructions in binary. So I'm going to set it to instructions, 3 instructions in there. The first one is to set the screen to 8-bit, 2 lines, and 5 times 7 characters. So that is a binary instruction, which is 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 0, 0, 0. So if I click on the switch there, it should send that instruction. Okay, so nothing seems to happen at the moment, doesn't matter. So we drop it down to the, we're going to send the next instruction, which is display on, cursor on, and cursor blinking, basically. So this should just light up the screen a bit when we do this. So this is 4 zeros and 4 ones in the lower bits here. Now, you should see a change in the screen when I press this. Is it doing anything? Doesn't seem to be. That's not a good sign. Potentially, I'm just going to check over the board to see everything is there. Oh, of course. There you go. So basically that's, I've got to set the potentiometer to display. So the screen's set up there. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to set all zeros there, and a 1 and a 1 here, and then just send that to there. Now, because I messed up on that and I didn't have the screen bright enough, I've sent a number of commands that I shouldn't have done. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to try it again. So I've flipped the switch to data. So that was on read, and I'll switch it over to data now. Now I'm going to send a letter. So this is done in what is called ASCII code, which is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It's it's what actually all your texts and messaging are all encoded into binary. So this is what's behind all your smartphone stuff. So on this one, I've set 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And that should be the letter H. And I've sent it twice because I hit it twice there. So basically that's the letter H. So I can send any letters that I want to this by a combination of things. So if I wanted to say send the letter L, I know the binary code for L is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so letter E that should be, and there it is. Okay, so that proves that it actually works. And what I'm going to do is actually mount all that in a box with the switches on the top so that I can send both instructions and data to this screen. In the next session, what I'm going to do is show you how to basically use these different charts here to send different characters to the screen. Also, what the different instructions are and how to use them. And finally, how to run a program. Okay, that's a program there. You can see the binary numbers there, which will write hello world to the screen. Okay, so that's it, and thank you for watching.